Today's the last day to get a ticket to honor life-saving youth in our area. What's it all about? You'll find out coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning with the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the Distinguished Citizens Award dinner to be held on Monday evening at the Florence County Civic Center. And we're visiting with Don Weaver of Darden Construction, one of the executive board members of the Pee Dee Area Council of the Boy Scouts. Good morning, Don.
Greg, very nice to be here.
Thank you so much for coming in, and to think we're this close, 72 plus hours from the event, the big dinner.
That's right. We're not far off, and I do appreciate the opportunity to come in and talk about the banquet today.
It is it's such a big need, and I know they're almost sold out of the tables. They normally have, I think, about 50 tables and close to being sold out, but they're not sold out. This is the last chance to get in.
That's correct. That's correct. Yes, we do normally have about 50. A good crowd, 8 people to a table, so that's about 400 people.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we still have some seats left. So we're hoping that this program today is going to help take us to the top.
And anything else today, every avenue out there, if someone cashes it, to be able to tell a friend if they can't potentially pay it. Someone will hear $150 a seat, or $1,200, $1,500 or so dollars a table. I think you can get a table for as little as $1,500 or for as much as $5,000. You probably even write a check for more than that if you'd
Absolutely.
like.
If you'd like, we can handle anything more than that. But yes, we have three table levels of sponsorship. Generally, the corporations will do this, but our highest level is the Eagle table for $5,000. We have the Life table at $2,500, and then the Star table at $1,500. Mm-hmm. And then again, individual seats, $150.
Right. The importance of an event like that, and obviously the Pee Dee Area Council of the Boy Scouts, such a large region, and so many efforts of all the volunteers that are involved in strengthening the lives of these young boys, growing them into men, as well as some of the girls that are involved throughout Explorers and otherwise throughout scouting.
Absolutely. I'm sure the viewers have heard numerous stories about the cutback in contributions subsequent to 9/11, and the Boy Scouts is certainly no different from that. So it's been in the last few years a struggle. This particular banquet is an integral part of the fundraising efforts for the year for the Scouts, for the PD Council. So it's very, very important that we be successful. And I feel like we're going to be, but
yes,
we're certainly going to need the support of the people.
Absolutely. Don, for a viewer who's got to get off, and particularly a parent right now who's got to get a child or children off to school, who's got to get out of the house, the best phone number for someone to call to get information or to reserve a ticket
would be the council office in Florence.
Okay.
And I believe, do you have that?
That's the 843-662-6306 number. You know, it's amazing when we go up there so often, or otherwise like yourself, who's up there constantly for meetings, you probably push a speed dial or otherwise on your mobile phone or your office phone, 843-662-6306. And the most important thing is you utilize an extension 17, Diane Wheeler.
Yes.
Diane Wheeler said she'll be there all day taking calls, expecting calls, whether it's from this show or so many other folks that are working to really get the word out about the Distinguished Citizens Award dinner. We've got an amazing honoree on Monday night. Can you share with the viewer? Oh, real quick about yourself, Don. Are you originally from the area?
Oh, actually, no, Greg. I grew up in Asheville, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. In fact, this is the first time I've been on TV in about 50 years. Previously,
come on.
I was on Cowboy Bob's show in the afternoon with a bunch of kids.
I don't believe it.
Walked away with a couple of loaves of bread and a handful of Twinkies.
Well, I can't tell you that's waiting in the lobby, but we may come up with something.
Yeah. But I came to the area in 1989 with the canal companies and spent a number of years with them and was transferred up to Charlotte, North Carolina with them in 95 and then left them in 1997 and subsequently joined Darden Construction. Been a little over 4 years now. But a great company, and I thoroughly enjoy the people that I work with.
For some of the viewers in the PD or southeastern North Carolina who may not be familiar with Dargan Construction, y'all build and have been building for more than 75 years structures up and down, not only in the Strand or in South Carolina, but up and down the coast throughout the country. But your position there, are you running the operation there?
No, I handle the finances for the company.
You know finances.
Shaw Dargan III is our current president and CEO. He's the son of the founder, Archie Dargan. And Harry Cushman Harry Cushman III is currently our vice president of construction. And Vicki Cooper is our vice president of administration.
Okay.
But the company's been around. Archie Dargan formed the company a little over 50 years ago now. And yes, they have built, the company has built all over the state of South Carolina and up into North Carolina. In the last few years, the business has been so strong here at Myrtle Beach that there has not been a need to travel out of the area, so to speak.
Wow.
And I hope it'll stay that way. I know our superintendents do, because they're able to go home every night.
That's
and
right.
They like that. But
that's right.
Yeah, the company has again built a number of different kinds of things. Commercial general contractor, so we handle most any kind of commercial structure. But the focus in the past few years has been on these high-rise condominium projects that you see going in up and down the beach.
Right. I think we saw, and I was reading a piece earlier this morning from Southeast Construction and saw a quote of Shaw's where he talked about look for continued steady growth. And in the article, even though it was written in March, it talked about you all completing recently Margate, I believe, a 29-story facility there. And that's, I guess, a big condominium type project.
Yes, it is. Absolutely gorgeous structure. We're very, very proud of what we've done there, and we think our owner is very, very happy as well. The owner is, or the developer is Felcor Lodging Trust, a real estate investment trust headquartered out in Las Colinas, Texas. Their principal focus is the ownership of hotels, upscale hotels, DoubleTree, Sheridan's, and that sort of thing. And they've only recently gotten into development of condominium projects. But this Margate was their second tower there at Kingston Plantation. And we're getting ready to start another tower up there as well, hopefully in January. But the Margate Tower truly is a magnificent building, and we're all just very, very proud of it.
And now, did Felcor also buy the Hilton recently, or is that?
Yes, they did. Are partnering with the Hilton folks in there.
Right. So they're not new to the area. I mean, they've known the area for a long time.
Yes. And this next tower that we're going to be building would be adjacent to the Hilton Hotel up there.
How exciting, Don. Well, how do folks find out about, I mean, how do they go about making those decisions as to construction companies? I mean, they really go through exhaustive efforts. You're talking about gigantic groups, whether they're from Columbia or from Texas, that are coming in to look at projects on the Strand, up and down. There's such a dearth of available property, I suppose. A lot of things. I was reading an article in the Myrtle Beach Herald last week. Steve Porter done one about the Sea Island Inn, and that little the hotel there that had been there forever at 6000 North Ocean Boulevard is now is gone, and in 13 months there'll be something else there. 149 units. It was fascinating hearing just a projects. But how do folks find out about you all?
Well, to be sure, projects of this size, I mean, there are tremendous cost involved in putting one of these together. And we think because of the number of times that we've done this in Myrtle Beach, that we've got sort of a pretty well-oiled machine put together here in terms of the subcontractors that we use. They understand what our expectations are, and we certainly know what their capabilities are. We just have a good, excellent working relationship with these folks. And that translates into a job that gets completed generally under the time frame that the developer accepts, and generally under the budget that we've put together.
Wow.
Just because it's just a very efficient process.
That's very exciting.
So a lot of the work and the projects that we do are repeat business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's same developers that we're working for from one project to the next, and
Right.
and of course that speaks volumes. If the developer's happy and he comes back, then there's a message there.
Yes, yes, very definitely. $75 million, I think, was close to the price tag that Southeast Construction talked about for Margate. So there is,
Right.
as you say, these are not mom and pops putting up operations like that, albeit mom and pops have locations that I'm sure they're looking to even redevelop. A lot of those folks stay in it, want to remain in it for long periods of times, and they're the same kind of folks who call on you, that have worked with you in the past. And
Absolutely, and you're right. $75 million was the price tag on that, and you can. I mean, the construction itself, the cost of construction, of course, is financed. The developer goes out and borrows the money to do that project, and so you can imagine the interest carry, even though rates are very, very low right now and throughout this construction period. But nevertheless, a carry on $75 million is significant. So you can understand why the developer is quite happy when it finishes ahead of schedule.
Yes, yes.
That's sort of money in their pocket.
How exciting. You know, when you think about so many aspects, and of course, again, our big focus is the PD Area Council's DCA dinner this Monday night. We're talking about 4 days from now, 3 days from now, 843-662-6306, and of course for Diane Wheeler, extension 17. But it's just so fascinating when you think about aspects of the growth here on the Strand. It was fascinating reading or hearing a little bit about Dargan early on, building homes in Conway. I think we had a guest, golly, 6 months ago, who said that her home was one of the last homes, if not the last home. Liz Gilland said that her home was one of the last homes that Dargan had built in Conway prior to going almost entirely into a commercial.
That's right. Early in the company's history, it did build some residential homes. In fact, when I lived here before, working with the canal companies,
right.
The home I lived in up in the Dunes area was built by Dargan.
Is that right?
Which I did not find out until after I came to work with Dargan, but nevertheless. And I'll have to say, of all the homes that I've lived in, and I've lived in a number, that one was by far the best constructed of anything that we've owned.
Good kudos back to the family. That's exciting. Do you have family here in the area, Don?
Not here in the area. Most of my wife's family and mine are up in North Carolina.
Or in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And you said you grew up in Asheville.
Yes.
How exciting.
Yes. Yeah, beautiful town. Of course, it's changed a lot since I left there many years ago.
Yeah,
but of course, I get back frequently. But a very, very nice place.
And now living at the beach, is there any way that you could call yourself a mountain boy, or is it? I know you spent some time in Charlotte. Do you consider yourself a metro guy, or have you grown to the moniker of being a beach guy?
Well, of course, I've had an interesting career. I was in public accounting for many years up in Greensboro, Winston-Salem area with one of the major Big 8 accounting firms, and was transferred out to Dallas, Texas with them. So we've traveled a lot, and I've worked a lot down in large downtown areas, high-rise buildings and suits and all of that. So I'm quite happy to be here at Myrtle Beach.
That's right. Take the
tie
tie
off.
That's
and,
right.
Been able to go out and enjoy a good game of golf every now and then.
Yes, Don.
So I really enjoy living here.
That also gives you the opportunity to really focus on some of the things that you know mean so much. The PD Area Council, the Boy Scouts, gives you the opportunity. A well-oiled company gives you the opportunity, because it is well-oiled, to get out. And I know Shaw's very involved. The two of y'all oftentimes go to meetings together or show up together and are able to brainstorm on some of the ways to really continue to grow the council. And of course, the DCA dinner, year after year, continues to be a big success. And some of the honorees, a lot of them from Horry County, the PD Area Council, of course, having kicked off up there, and Horry County being added on later on. So much of that focus, Camp Coker and otherwise, and the service center is there on Coyd Street in Florence. But it's fascinating to see even General Hackler, I believe, recognized from this area. And of course, next year or the year after, hopefully opportunities to highlight even other Horry County folks who make a big difference in the PD.
Oh, absolutely, Greg. Yeah, General Hackler has been a big supporter of the Scouts for many years, and we appreciate all his efforts. In fact, he's on our remains on the advisory board for the PD Council.
Right.
But yes, this banquet again is an integral part of the fundraising efforts that take place during the year, and we've given some thought and some consideration to possibly either bringing the banquet here to Myrtle Beach or having a separate banquet for Myrtle Beach, because it is such a large area, and getting people to drive to Florence for dinner from Myrtle Beach is a little difficult, quite frankly. We just are so spread out here in the council, and but Myrtle Beach is an integral part of that. So we are giving some thought to that, having another banquet maybe here in Myrtle Beach.
It's always fascinating to see how the paid staff, the handful of paid staff of the council, are traveling around through this gigantic area on such a regular basis, and of course the volunteers like yourself, like the entire PD Area Council Executive Board and the Executive Committee there, who are constantly making trips left and right all over the council, from Darlington County down to Horry County, and of course in Williamsburg County. These are incredible efforts that are made on behalf of the youth and the community. We're talking about thousands of young men.
Absolutely, and you're right. There is a lot of traveling that going on. Most of our board meetings are held in Florence, and so there's 3 hours of traveling for a board meeting involved in that. But it's all for an extremely good cause. I've actually been on the board now a little over 3 years, and I guess the first year I was on, I chaired the committee that put together the strategic plan for the council. And
that's right.
Under the then Scout Executive Jim Head.
Sure.
He has since unfortunately left us and gone to Houston.
Yeah.
Yes. But and we're currently without a Scout Executive, but getting ready to start a search to replace him. But nevertheless, I certainly enjoyed working on that strategic planning committee. It gave me an opportunity to get to meet many of the other members on the board. And,
oh yeah.
Of course, for them to get to know me as well.
That's right. I think I saw recently you chair the nominating committee, so very involved in keeping board members strong, keeping the board strong, and of course the board stretches out in so many ways. Let's go ahead and break down the program this Monday night for a viewer who may be wondering if they can afford $150, but remembering that if it starts at 6 o'clock, the social, I think the program and silent auction, I think you told me, starts at 7. So if they break down that, let's say it was to go to 8:30 or 9, it's really $50 an hour, and it's in a donation to the Boy Scouts to keep this area strong.
Absolutely, and this year we've added this silent auction for the first time, and I think the committee that's put that together has really tried to focus heavily on getting some tremendous prizes or awards in there to be bid on.
Right.
And tried to focus more, let's say, on quality as opposed to quantity. I know, for instance, there are a number of vacation packages, bed and breakfast, that sort of thing, bed and breakfast weekends, weekend getaways that people can bid on. And I also understand that one of the car dealerships in Florence has offered to put a car up for auction. Now, there will be a minimum on that, but that's
wow,
that's going to be quite a deal.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm dying for Monday night.
So looking forward to seeing how that goes. But as far as the program itself, of course, our current president of the board is our own Councilman Alan Clemens.
That's right, Representative Alan Clemens. That's exactly right.
Who, of course, grew up in the area, is an Eagle Scout, very, very dedicated to the Scout program. But he will open the dinner that evening. And then we have a life-saving award that's going to be delivered or given to one of the troops from the Florence area that happened to be on a trip, a weekend camping trip, and had an opportunity to save a number of lives of people that were had a boating accident.
Wow.
So
that alone's a reason to be.
Yeah, and to hear these stories, I mean, they try to get one of these in every year, and I'll tell you, they're just they sometimes bring tears to your eyes as far as how grateful the people are that were the recipients of this training that these boys get in terms of life saving and other forms of assistance.
Right.
But we're going to have some remarks from Dr. Jim Dawson, who's the president of Coker College, as a lead-in to the presentation, and then Hunter Howard, who is the president and CEO of the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce, also will be delivering a very short address. And then Alan will make the award to our distinguished citizen, who is this year
Emerson Gower.
Yes, Emerson Gower.
Superstar in the PD area. And, of course, I think he is in line to take over as chairman of the board of the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce. Part of the thrill of having Hunter Howard here, who's the CEO of the South Carolina Chamber, to recognize Emerson Gower, of course, with Progress Energy, who's been so instrumental, not only with the PD Area Council of the Boy Scouts, but just the area in general.
That's correct, yeah. Well, you know, Greg, I guess one other comment I'd like to make before, I don't know how much time we have left.
We've just got a couple of minutes, yeah.
I think just one more time to get the point across, you know, the Boy Scouts, the boys that come into scouting, they're at an age where they're really transitioning from boyhood to manhood. So it's that period in their lives that they're exposed to scouting. And to be sure, the scouting program develops so much confidence in these boys. It gives them an opportunity to develop leadership skills, and it just it lets them take away into the rest of their life values that will stay with them for the rest of their life. And so you know, any contribution that any of us can make towards that effort is going to pay dividends long after you know, we've put this time in or we've given this money. Right. It's going to come back to us over the years through the efforts of these young men that we're trying to service.
Absolutely. Jim Head used to say that so much, Don, and of course Alan says it all the time. The impact didn't hit them until they turned 30 of what scouting, the impact scouting had on them and their before they were teenagers even. The impact that they really began to recognize was that transition from boyhood to manhood, and then later from manhood to that 30th birthday, which is oftentimes such a big one, where they recognize the impact scouting had on their lives.
Well, unfortunately, we live in a time when there are a lot of broken homes, and so these young men don't always and often have an adult male figure that they can look up to and see as a role model, and so scouting in many respects fills that void to the extent that it's present. So just again, for a variety of reasons, it's just a great organization, and we at Dargan are delighted to support it every way we can, and we do. In addition to Shaw Dargan actually being on the executive board, Harry Cushman's also on there as well.
Oh, wow. I didn't
from
know
our
that.
company. So there's three of Dargan's employees on.
We're making these trips to Florence every month or every other month. It's an amazing commitment, and of course, so many of the folks from this area, and of course, a lot of events happen down here. And those guys, men and women on the board. Obviously, the difference is the recognition of helping young men, whatever age they are and whatever race they are, and even some young women that are involved in scouting on the Explorer programs or the Learning for Life aspects. It's amazing the impact this has on youth in our area from such a large area. I think we're talking about 10, maybe 11 counties all over the area. And, of course, Camp Coker's difference and the impact that it makes. People like Reverend Terry Alexander that are on the executive board. I think he's doing the invocation on Monday night. But, again, the phone number was the 843-662-6306. And that aspect of Troop 305, and as you said, the life-saving components there, to be able to hear about that alone. I wonder if a viewer can't attend the dinner, but they feel they could make a donation. Could they still call the phone number?
Absolutely. That phone number, extension 17, Diane Wheeler, she would be more than happy to take any donation request.
How about for yourself, Don, growing up and activities, you think about things you got into your youth. Are there still folks that have continued to remind you of the impact that scouting has on young men or on yourself?
Well, of course, when I was growing up, I was very active in scouting. I never got as far as the Eagle Scout. I was one rung below that at the Life Scout.
Yeah.
And then I aged to the point where girls and other
distractions,
right, were more important. But to be sure, I still remember. I mean, I'm getting to be a pretty old fella, and I forget a lot. But I still remember my scoutmaster, Joe Bland. Really, really nice guy. I mean, nothing spectacular about Joe, but he was always there and was just a great leader, and really, really enjoyed those years.
Thanks for making a difference, Don, and thanks for coming in this morning.
Well, you're quite welcome. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk about this.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Don Weaver coming up next. Think about that date, May 22nd, and Troop 305 stretching out to save lives. You know, the scouting motto is to be prepared. This Monday night's an opportunity to get out there and hear that story, to hear it live time, to see those scouts who actually saved lives on a canoe trip, to think about the impact that scouting has not only in the youth in our area, but all over the world. Scouting been around a heck of a long time. It's folks like Don Weaver. You heard him talk about guys like Joe Bland. Men and women who constantly reach out to volunteer for the youth in our area. We don't have time to tell you about all those, but you can get out Monday night, the Florence County Civic Center, 843-662-6306, extension 17. That's Diane Wheeler, 843-662-6306. Even if you can't attend Monday night, you can make a donation. Keep the youth strong in our area. Help them be prepared.